Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over 5 rare mounts that you can farm all day. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we're going to be going over 5 rare mounts that we can basically farm indefinitely throughout the day. These are ones that we can just do over and over and over again, and that is basically the premise for this. We can actually either camp or farm this as many times as we really want throughout the day and have a chance of getting a hold of these low drop chance mounts. That being said, let's just jump into our first one at number 1, and that is the Death Charger's REINS. This one can be found in Stratholme from Lord Arius Rivendare at a 1% drop chance. What you're going to be wanting to do is, by going into the service entrance of Stratholme instead of the main entrance, and make your way into the dungeon. Take out the necropolises while you're actually doing this, and this should open it up for you to actually get to Lord Arius and then be able to take him out. Remember that the 1% drop chance is quite low, so you will be doing this quite a bit. So I'd highly recommend either using a character that has a lot of movement speeds to get your lockouts faster, and with ones that have abilities to reset the dungeon quite fast. I.e., if you use a druid, you're going to be wanting to use your Dreamwalk ability in order to go in and out of the dungeon, reset as and when you do that, and then you'll be able to run back in. I do this primarily for gold making, and this works quite well for mount farming for this particular dungeon as well. That being said, let's just jump on to our next one at number 2, and that is the Drake of the North Winds. Now, the Drake of the North Winds is located within the Vortex Pinnacle in the zone of Uldum, and what you're going to be wanting to do is make your way over to the boss Ultrius, and he has a chance of dropping this mount at a 1% drop chance. This mount can be farmed indefinitely, as this only needs to be set on normal mode. This can be done on heroic as well if you so wish, but remember, heroic only gives you 1 run per day, so you'll primarily want to do this on normal. Make sure to make a mental note that you only have 10 runs per lockout, and you can usually reach this within half an hour. So you will have about half an hour's worth of downtime, which I would recommend doing some gold farming, but you can do whatever you like in between those lockouts. The thing of note for this actual particular farm is you can also get a hold of a lot of volatile air throughout doing this, and overall this can bring in some additional gold while you're actually farming this mount, so you can get yourself a nice chunk of gold while you are actually farming up this mount. And overall, I find that this mount looks pretty dang awesome. It is one of my favourite at this moment in time. Coming on to number 3, and with no surprise, is another Cataclysm farm, and this one is the VITREOUS Stone Drake. This one is located within the Stone Core, which is located within Deepholm, and this can be found from the second boss of the actual dungeon called Slabhide. At a 1% drop chance, this does take a little bit of time in order to do, but I found that this one can be done quite easily, as you will not need to require having any quick teleport in and out of the dungeon, as it's much more faster to actually run in through the actual dungeon, kill the boss, and right behind the boss is a little platform which you will just click on the ground and it will teleport you back to the entrance of the actual dungeon, where you can jump out, reset, jump back in and do that run again. I can usually hit a lockout within about 15 minutes on my Demon Hunter, and overall I find that this is a brilliant way in order to actually do this actual farm. So overall, it provides you with a lovely stone drake. Once again, all the stone drakes really look pretty awesome, so I can't really complain right there. Overall, we just need to make sure that we don't forget our instance lockouts. But other than that, if you are killing all of the mobs while you're doing this, I would highly recommend adding the Potion of Treasure Finding for additional materials when you're actually doing this, as this will provide you some additional gold while you're actually farming up this mount, because you don't want to make everything for nothing. You want to squeeze as much as you can out of this. That being said, let's just jump on to our next one at number 4. Now this one is more of a camping farm, but this one has a respawn time of around about an hour. This one is in the Timeless Isle for the Thundering ONYX Cloud Serpent. This comes from a rare called Hulon, and he is located at the cliffs of the actual Timeless Isle. So when you're actually on the island, you'll want to make your way up to the top, and while you're there, you're just going to want to park one of your characters there. What I would do is I would actually park an ult there and wait till the first spawn comes around. You have a 1% chance of getting the actual mount, and then when you've actually done that, set a timer and then log back in as soon as it hits around about 55 minutes till the next respawn, so then you can keep track on how long the actual mob is taking to actually respawn and all of that stuff. So it's just easier for you to just log out, do something else, then come back instead of camping it for an hour. You can just make good use of that time by just setting a little timer on like your other screen or your phone, and just making sure that you get the log in before then in order to make sure that you actually get that kill. Another good way for this actual rare camp is by setting up a targeting macro. For me, I would do /target Hulon for cast Moonfire, so I get an instant hit on him when he actually spawns, and then that will increase my chances of actually getting the kill in order to actually get the mount, because this mount is somewhat farmed quite a bit by a load of other players, so you may find a bit of competition when actually farming this up. Coming on last on our list for today is the fishing ones, and these are 2 mounts in one. This is the sea turtle and the pond nettle. What you're going to be wanting to do for the pond nettle is by going over to the Antoran Wastes within Argus. If you go to 74.8 to 47.1, you're going to be wanting to just fish there until the pond nettle actually drops. This does take quite a long time for the pond nettle to actually drop, and you'll be fishing in Argus for quite some time, so do be prepared that you will be standing there for quite a while, much like farming up all of these other rares. But the better chance for this is because you're able to constantly fish instead of being locked out, you can also just sit here all day and fish it up until you actually get the mount. That being said, we do have an alternative one, and that's why I've put them all together, and that is the sea turtle mount. This is where you'll want to go to your garrison within Warlords of Draenor, and personally for me it's the Lunarfall Inn. You'll want to head over to your fishing shack and then go over to the pond right adjacent to it. Here you'll want to fish in the actual area, and you will also get crescent saberfish, which you can also sell on the auction house as well, but the main thing you're going for is the mount. And while you're actually doing this, you will be able to spawn certain different types of mobs, and the one of note is called the Cave Dweller. Now, the Cave Dweller has a 0.2% chance of dropping the sea turtle mount, and overall you do get this spawn quite a bit, especially if you're farming here all day. The one thing of note that I would actually recommend is ranking up your fishing shack to rank 3. This is to basically unlock all of that stuff that's actually going about, and it will help you quite considerably in spawning more cave dwellers. But other than that, guys, that is pretty much everything on the list for today. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.